All right, so we're doing a bit of a walk and talk. Kenny and I are at Expo Antad. We spent how long have we been here? Sunday, Monday.
Well, we got in Sunday, Monday, Mexico City.
This is our third day in Mexico
and
City.
now we're in Guadalajara.
Yeah, and it's been a eventful few days. Like we
seen a lot, that's for sure.
We landed Sunday, and we kind of we got overfed by my brother-in-law Steve and his wife. But then we actually went to work and got some work done.
Barely. It was way too much food.
Walking into a party.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
That's kind of cool too. So we did get to see a bunch of things. Should we maybe cut down that
wherever
way?
you want to go on forward.
So we did see a bunch of things, right? We got to see some stores. We got to understand, learn about this market a little bit.
Well, we learned about some logistics issues that people are going to have to consider, labeling practices.
So that way, let's get across there.
There's a lot of rules in this country. Was what I started getting out of it.
We did get to spend some time with, a logistics guy, Hector from SNC Logistics, right? They're a logistics company. But they do a lot of things. They do brokerage, they do labels, they help you figure out taxes.
Bonded warehouses, right? Bonded
warehouses, all those sort of things, which was pretty darn cool.
Yeah.
So I guess we've been to a whole bunch of retailers now. So some of the retailers down here, there's Soriana, there's Chedraui, there's La Comer, there's Walmart, and then
we went to Farmacia La Hora.
Oh, Farmacia La Hora, which is not to be confused with Farmacia, right?
No, Farmacia is just general.
No, but there is another.
Yeah, not that. No, it was different. It was actually. They started off as generic dispensaries, then went into dispensary with some OTC, and now they've added some actually a little bit of health food. They're small. I mean, we're talking 1,000 square feet.
Yeah.
These are small places, but they're pretty cool.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Pretty cool.
Pretty cool. Any reactions, retail? I mean, the other one, so we spent time in, it'll sound weird and you're probably going to raise your eyebrows, but we're in a bunch of department stores too.
Well,
which was super cool.
But they're down here.
Yeah.
We went to Liverpool and something, I can't remember what the other one's called.
Oh my gosh, I can never get the name right.
Pacifica Antad or something?
Pacifica de Herrero?
I don't remember.
They always say it and it sounds better than when I say it.
It was pretty high end on a bunch of things and then different. I don't know how else to describe it.
Palace de Herrero.
That's what, Palace de Herrero.
But when they say it, it's fancier.
Yeah.
When I say it, it sounds not that cool.
No, but it was nice. I mean, the fixtures were phenomenal. The flooring, the lighting, the feel.
Yeah.
Definitely high end.
Yeah.
Right.
But then I think the important thing is lots of people go to these. And then lots of Mexicans actually shop and buy.
They shop department stores.
In these department stores.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a big deal, right? Because we don't have that. It's not something that we do.
Now, one thing I don't know is if these are, like, the areas we were in, I would say are probably upper middle class.
Yep.
So I don't know if the Herrera one is definitely not going to be in neighborhoods that can't afford it. I'm telling you, it's emphatic, it's not going to be there. So I don't know if that's where most people shop or if that's where sort of the more affluent, for lack of a better. Like, I don't know if Liverpools are at every.
Oh no, Liverpools are everywhere. And then Liverpools are kind of like.
So they like an old school Bay or Sears?
Yeah. Like Bay or the Bay or Sears or Eaton's.
Because that's what they reminded me of.
Probably Eaton's and Simpsons are probably the two that, if you're old enough to remember, that's what they were like.
Right.
But yeah, very, very cool. So department stores has played a part.
Yeah.
We think that there's some
definitely
brand fits there. I think what's obvious too is that they have some really cool shoppers here and some really affluent shoppers. But you're going to have to, if you're a brand and you're thinking about coming, you've got to think about where you've got to be.
Yeah, I think you got to really think
you've
about
got
where
to
you got to
really
be.
spend some time thinking about like where you got to be, because it's not that simple. It's not straightforward. And then even like we talk about it a lot, but if you think about like a Walmart, Walmart isn't Walmart. Like
Walmart is Walmart. Walmart Express wasn't like what we would think Walmart is in East Van or in Toronto. It's not that Walmart.
And sorry, while we're walking, guys, you'll see the Lay's here, and this is a grocery chain, and they actually have booths here. They all do, actually. Chedraui,
all the retailers have booths here.
Soriano, they all have booths here, and they're actually, like you can see these lineups. There, people are actually like.
I think it's like speed dating.
Yeah.
I think they get the X amount of time with the buyers if they're here. It's just kind of weird though, too, because the buyers aren't really wandering, which I found funny.
Yeah.
That's not my thing.
Anyway, we don't know. It could be dedicated time.
Who the hell knows?
Who knows, right? But interesting because it's certainly not what we do in Canada.
No, it's not anything close to what we do in Canada.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've never seen a retailer have a booth in Canada.
No, I haven't either.
I mean, I've seen some of the retailers, if they've had distribution arms, like AG Foods would do something.
Yeah.
Which is part of the Patterson group. But you know what I mean? But I've never seen, hey, let's go sit down with Loblaw banners in this massive booth.
Yeah.
I've never seen that.
Look at, there's Voices of Retail. It's their own podcast booth. That's kind of cool.
It is cool. I was thinking we should try something
How come
like that.
We don't have a podcast booth?
Well, I think we have to buy a booth.
But their booth is really fancy, though, huh?
I know. I saw it.
Did
I saw them there walk by before. They were interviewing when we first walked.
I didn't see that.
No, it's cool.
We should swing by and say hello.
Who are we?
Don't they know who we are?
You can play that card. You know who I am?
Guys, like, this camera, it doesn't track temperature, but this is like 5 degrees hotter than it was over on the other side.
It's warm in here.
Like, you're going to see us sweating in a minute. Okay, so while we're walking and talking, the other thing that we've done is the part that we were walking in before was the international, and then we swung into the Mexican side,
this
and you can tell it's, like right now, this side is just
it's a party.
One of the things that I think, we talked about it briefly when we were in Anuga, but you can see we're kind of walking into just parts of the booth, parts of the show, but the entertainment value is crazy. Look at, there's a robot coming up here. So there's a guy with a robot walking. Very cool. But you've seen the TV screens and the LEDs.
Yeah, make a rum and coke.
You can make a rum and coke.
I got the glasses. I got glasses.
Yeah, you get glasses.
I don't know if that works or not, but
yeah. So you can kind of see like entertainment value here is very, very high. I think a lot of these booths have spent a lot to kind of make sure that they are present and visible.
Well, they're definitely. I mean, these booths are huge.
Yeah. I mean, even it looks like these guys are pallet movers, maybe, but they have this thing moves.
Logistics and warehouses.
Logistics and
warehouses. I was watching them move the boxes before.
They were actually box moving.
So
what else?
Asian food distributors? Sure. What the hell?
So while Kenny's gone to get food, I think this market is super interesting in terms of what it can offer folks. But I do think you've got to really work and figure out what makes sense for you, and then what is the kind of right way to do things, or the right places that you should be. So that you can get the most done in this place. If I use Walmart as an example, in Canada we have Superstore, and that's all we've got. Oh, Kenny found something spicy. Hot or spicy?
Both.
Or hot and spicy?
And I had the mic on when I'm eating, so I don't know what's going to happen to recording.
Okay.
I forgot that it was on.
Yeah, I know. That happens too.
I know.
Do you want to... should we cut it this way?
No, go, you know what it does? It's interesting. It's all machinery.
Okay.
Which I don't think we do. I mean, it's cool, but
Yeah, so let's go this way.
It was more like we're still trying to figure out, like, when we go back home, like, how do we walk people through what we feel is a store down here, right?
Like before, as you were eating, what I was saying was just if I use something like Walmart as an example, is what our takeaway from the market so far is you've really got to think about where you want to be. Because it's not obvious, right?
No.
So we only have Walmart superstores in Canada. They have 8 different Walmarts down here, and I'll tell you, last night Kenny and I went to a Walmart Express, and we really enjoyed it. Actually, it was a great store. And so you kind of go, that is not what you normally.
But that's also what it showed me. That was a metropolitan store.
Correct.
That's a store within in a bright part of the city.
Correct.
So even how they were catering their merchandise or merchandising was much more upscale than what I would, because I'll pick on Walmart then, what I would say a normal Walmart would be, which is pretty pedestrian.
You would not, like, we are, like, the way we talk about retailers, we would not normally recommend a Walmart at all. Like, it is not part of...
Not for merchandising prowess. They're great with the great box movers, great what they do.
It is also not part of, like, what we normally tell brands, like, hey, you should go to Walmart. Like, usually that's the last stop, right? But in this case, you actually have to think about it, because
Walmart Express, you could probably start
Walmart Express might be a couple of hundred.
I don't know how many that's. I think that's the
what it
research
was,
you got to look at, right?
But it was a lot of stores, right? And you kind of go, I get into, like, in a country of 137 million or 35 million in the city of Mexico City, what can you do, right? Like, you get into a bunch of Walmart Expresses, all of a sudden your numbers game changes significantly.
I think what you got to try to do, though, because again, we were trying to look at it from the brands that we typically talk with, right?
Yeah.
Which are typically a little healthier, typically a little bit more premium.
Yeah.
And for down here, what we see is not typical.
Right.
We have not seen that as a typical product assortment in any of the stores we've been in.
Correct.
And we've been into like 7 or 8 stores in the matter of 2 days.
Yeah.
Right? And even like if you look at Chedraui,
we've been in a lot of stores.
Their big stores are very different than the Chedraui Selecto. And the Selecto had very different stuff in it, right? Whole different world.
Yeah.
And I do think this market is still probably, in terms of what we would consider more mainstreamish healthy, I don't think they're here yet.
So I think on that note, like, if you are a keto, non-GMO, have electrolytes, like, you have to be very careful, because I don't think the consumer is as educated about about,
not to the same maybe level as ours might be.
Yeah.
And that's a perception I'm having too.
Yeah.
I don't think it's as sophisticated as consumer. And it could be just that even if it has a large upper middle class here, economically, I don't know what that means relative to our country, which might be just sort of like middle class has just been squeezed out anyway.
I think nutritional education is definitely not the same at all.
Way different down here, way different.
We do see higher sodium, higher sugar levels in almost everything. And then really, what they understand, I think it's a language thing too, because we see healthy, and then it doesn't always jive with what the product is attached to in terms of
it's just healthy. It's just not healthy as what we would describe healthy.
Yeah.
It's not. I mean, but again, what we say is one thing, but they're doing down here is different.
Yeah.
And I think that's the point. The takeaway is that don't assume that it's the same people. Even though I think clearly there are people here who could buy it.
Yep.
But
some things I think that Canadians might have stereotypes over, right? One is this is not a very reliable country, or that their infrastructure is not good. I think when we went to the warehouse that we went to, they had more security than I've ever seen at a warehouse. I never
got patted down in any pharmaceuticals I ever went to.
Yeah.
Patted down in and out.
Yeah. They had, and then, so I think some of those things are important to kind of like track along the way, right? Is that, the stereotypes that we have are those things. The other stereotypes that we have a lot is that, socioeconomically, these guys can't afford what we can afford, right? So that's not what I believe, but I think we do see that.
I think there's some validity to it. I think you just got to be really cautious how you play the card.
Yeah, correct.
This is not a country of 135 million people running down in markets or selling shit on the beach, which is probably the shitty stereotype that we carry.
Correct.
Or if you go to Puerto or Cancun and you hop in a Walmart or a Soriana, which is like a Walmart, it's not that.
Yeah.
The boutique retail that they had is different because it's all in department stores, which we never understood.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not,
we still don't really.
I just don't get it.
Yeah.
But whatever, it works for them. It doesn't matter to us.
It's there. It's a market. It doesn't matter whether we believe it.
Right.
It's there, right?
It's there.
So and people seem to be buying in those places, right?
I personally did not like. If I walked into, I don't forget if when I walk into the superstore on Grandview close to my house, right?
Yeah.
I can walk down almost 2 full aisles of what could really be deemed healthier for you foods. Period.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
I think we would have been lucky to find 12 feet. All in. They're spattered and smattered, but it's not that. I didn't see it. I really felt that what I thought on that side would be was more. And then on the other side, with this unsophisticated, market shopping, that's bullshit. Most department stores were buddies.
Yeah.
They
were selling Macallan, 18-year-old, like $250
bottles. I mean, again, it's in a department store.
Yeah.
Right, so it was different.
Yeah, we saw things that we don't understand.
And then some other stuff, it'll be like $2 chips.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking,
or kind of, run-of-the-mill olive oil.
Yeah, which is fine.
That, you kind of go, well, wait, so
really
$300 gallon, and then you've got,
$20 1 liter,
super cheap,
whatever,
super cheap, poor quality.
Yeah, I don't want to get for the brands, but
no, we won't talk about the brands.
I mean,
but
to me, all the big brands,
really like a run-of-the-mill ordinary olive oil.
Or do it this way: if it was in Canada, and it's not a better or worse, right? So let's be clear. If it was in Canada, you would say that this is just grocery store product like that. The first Chedraui we went into was in that premium area.
Yeah.
That Chedraui.
In Polanco.
Yeah. That wasn't a premium store.
Yeah.
It was nicely done.
No, it was nicely done.
And I got lots of
experience was super high.
Glasses. Experience was great. Merchandising was decent.
It was nice.
Product selection was the best.
Guys, we're going to take you to the middle here because I've got the street around. But you feel like you're stepping into World Cup or a casino, I felt like.
No, it's Coca-Cola.
What's that?
Coca-Cola.
I know. But it's so crazy, so if you're thinking about entertainment from a trade show perspective, this is not what we're used to as Canadians, right? So you just gotta...
I just want like an iced tea or something. Iced tea?
The other thing that we've seen a lot of at this show, just while we're pivoting, or I'm talking about things that I see is, there's a foosball table here. If I can find it, there was a brand that was had a larger.
Alcohol.
It's got alcohol, and they're serving it here at the show. Interesting.
I asked lemonade. Yeah, lemonade.
Hard lemonade.
Drinks, margarita, sabor fresha, Jamaica.
So I was just saying that the other thing while you were getting a drink is
so I feel like that with Mets, right?
The gamification down here. So there's a foosball table there. If we can find the brand that had the operation, the operation table
though for a show, but
well, we've seen whack-a-mole, literally a whack-a-mole game. Somebody's got a speed punching bag that you can measure how hard you hit. So gamification or entertainment at the show is next level, right? It's something that we actually...
I don't see it. I don't see it as a fancy food or an expo.
Yeah. Look, these guys are playing a game.
Yeah.
So it's all, kind of part and parcel of the same... Yeah, let's go that.
But it's a lot of it, too. But it also has... If I say it, then people can let their imagination go where they want.
Yeah.
It's got the feel of an old-style car show. Remember those old-style car shows about 20 years ago?
No, I don't. I'm not that old.
Okay, well, if you were that old, just picture that.
Wait, you want to go that way?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And picture who would be at those booths.
Yeah.
That's what the show is. A lot of it. Not good, not bad.
Yeah.
Just what it is.
Yeah.
And then the contrast between the international side, which is half asleep, nicely done, great products.
Yeah. But relatively tame.
It's compared
not,
to this.
It's not the this is like just the number of people in here, but also the entertainment, right? Like the sound, the lights, there's a lot going on in this place right now.
We gotta find a water.
That's because you keep eating things?
I'm just trying to make so I can push down the meds. Push down the meds.
Sure. Let's keep going with that. What else?
I don't know, I think sort of the theme bit, that's what I've been seeing is that I'm not sure I really understand exactly, even with products that I own or could bring down, I'm still struggling to try to figure out how I would do it. Because I think you ought to really think this one through. Like if you said I was going to put it in, Chedraui is a high-end grocery store, you should put your things in there. I'd be careful, man. I think if you had some good stuff that was pretty mainstream, you could maybe do it, but I find that even the mainstream choices are all big brands, international, multinational. How many people did we ask about local? And nobody answered what we asked.
So that's an interesting one because we don't
even buy local beer.
We were trying to find local, and like Canadians, when we say local, that is Kelowna, that is Ontario, that is East Van, that is Victoria or Leslieville, right? But Bedford, Nova Scotia, right? Like, but when we say local in Mexico, we got Corona, Modelo.
No, Corona was okay. I'll tell you what Corona was. This okay. Clearly I'm not from here, right?
What?
So, it's hard to believe.
What?
But so, cerveza. No problem, right?
Yeah.
Corona. Lucky we're people out of sort that could speak Spanish.
Yeah.
And I said, can you ask if there's anything but a Corona?
Yeah.
I love my Coronas, no issue.
Yeah.
But that's like getting a Molson.
Yeah.
I don't care. I got I'm in Mexico City. There's got to be a million craft breweries.
Yeah.
There has to be.
Yeah.
Right. So what we finally came up with was a Modelo Negro, which is just the dark Modelo, which is just Corona, but in a Modelo bottle. So you know what I mean? I thought
that's right.
Because they couldn't grasp it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
But I didn't even think.
But we had a hard time.
The people we were with were sort of.
And people that we were with, that we were talking to, that kind of understand what we're after or what we're looking for.
What I was asking.
Didn't really understand what local was, right?
And I was like, is there something from the neighborhood?
Yeah.
Or something, specifically Mexico City.
Yeah.
Which would have been, they make it here.
Yes,
that's local.
Yeah.
I was kind of crafty, maybe I should have asked for.
Yeah. So, some things that I think, I think the other thing culturally that maybe what we are getting, so here's another one. So this is Soriana, another grocery store.
Yeah.
And then look at the number of people that are kind of lined up for a meet and greet or, something of the sort.
Speed dating, like that kind of idea.
Potentially.
Dating the old days.
There's quite a lineup. There's quite a lineup. So again, unusual for a retailer, to do such a thing, right?
Usually the retailers were walking the floor.
That's right.
So if you're waiting for people to come to you, then how do you?
Don't know.
See.
Yeah.
This is this is just me now because it's my podcast too.
It's definitely your podcast.
If I look at the other side.
Wait, was it always my podcast?
Well, I think everybody thinks that too, because I'm with them. I think it's your podcast. I think I'm just a sidebar thing.
Shut the front door.
Anyway, back to my podcast. I think if I was a buyer, I wouldn't be at my booth. I would have been walking the international side to try to find some. Because if this is the mentality that we've heard from people, no, they want to try. There's just they don't have it or they can't find it.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, there's a whole pavilion over there. Why are you guys all over the Mexican side? You know your brand.
Yeah.
That's like me going to a show when I was a buyer and just hanging out in the GTA waiting for craft or something like that. I already know them.
Yeah.
Like I'm trying to find, like, who's the local guy, or was there a guy from Mexico or Italy or China or whatever, something different.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway,
No, I don't know if you're. I don't think I've explained that right the whole weekend. I think that's kind of what.
No, I think that's legit. Like I think that's I think that's one of those things.
Like this we did years and years ago. I think things feels passé to me.
Yeah.
And I'm not even saying I'm happy about that. I kind of like that old shit. It was fun.
Listen, this side has been nothing but amusing.
Look at this. It's
It is almost overwhelming how.
probably not great for you,
Yeah.
but at least fun. Boy.
Yeah. Boing. I mean, look at this.
Another game. We got another one.
Another game. And then look at these guys. Like, look at how crazy this is.
This is Corona.
Yeah.
So Coca-Cola and Corona obviously have to cash money, right?
Right.
And they're both sponsors of the World Cup.
Yeah. So you can pose with a real. I think that's a real trophy.
No, it's not the worst. No.
Just saying, everyone's kind of like.
That's because I want a picture with something.
All right. Anyway. Okay. I don't know if there's. Is there more?
I don't think so. I think we just wanted to get to the operation game.
Yeah.
I think was down there.
I think. I'm hoping this. Sound turns in. It's quite loud in here.
It's very loud in here.
So hopefully we get.
Some of that made sense too.
Yeah, and then hopefully, so the big punch is here. So you got another game. You've got a claw game here, right? So definitely gamification, like entertainment and gamification,
Almost
is
more
a
value
big deal.
than Lord of the Food.
Correct. Yeah.
Which I think is different. Like when we went to Anuga, and I used to go to Seattle, or if we go to Fancy Food or Expo, or see a Jaffe or a grocery showcase in Vancouver. Like, it's not, and maybe it should be. Maybe this is more fun. It's definitely a lot more alive.
Well, listen, I mean, the game is the game, right? And then everybody's here to buy and everybody's here to sell.
Yeah.
So what are we really doing, right? Like, so if you're not going to entertain, we already know that, like, one, buyers and their families love free things, right? So we know that already. So what else is there, right? Like, so the game...
I guess so.
There's some entertainment there, right? It creates conversation. It creates the chance. Here's Tradrawi.
But even if you didn't do that, like on the international side, I think if someone was brighter, they'd walk over and say, listen, you know what? Okay, listen, we're not doing the game shit. I'm not into it. Okay, no problem. I'm not going to put music on. Okay, whatever. But then do something.
Yeah. Do you want to go that way?
Let's go now.
Okay. So that's Tradrawi. It's a 360.
Oh, it's a retail.
Yeah. So that's Tradrawi, and again, you can see the lineup that was there. It's quite significant.
The first natural sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
And then it just goes back to every day.
Yeah.
And it's not a natural show, so.
No, it's not.
It's just a show.
But we did.
I thought the trend would be.
We did come thinking that we would see a little bit, because even in Anuga last year we saw a lot of protein and electrolytes, hydration, sort of thing. So, no, thank you. But. We haven't seen that here. I think we've seen a handful of electrolyte companies. Oh, maybe two, I think.
Alguien ahí que ya sí está salivando. Porque sí se ve, mi tío Chef, cómo el queso se va repitiendo y empieza a agarrar ya ahí, a ponerse en carne.
All right. I think that's it. I'm going to stop this now.